Welcome to the Homeownership Podcast presented by Momentum Realty, located in Hanover, Massachusetts. This series covers all things real estate and the best practices for buying, selling, and owning properties. Now here's your host, Sean Maloney.
Welcome to episode 146, Selling a Home During the Holidays. Today I want to talk to you about selling a home during the holiday season. Some people think that it's undoable, some people really need to have it happen, some people just have never even thought about it. We're going to go over the pros and cons to it, the ups and downs, the ins and outs, and just overall kind of the schematic. I'm not going to tell you whether you should or shouldn't. I'm just going to bring to light the different options and possibilities that can happen so that way you can make the determination if it's the right time for you to make your move. The holiday season is time for family, home, and happiness. This means for those of them without houses, it's going to be something of priority on their radar, meaning that they're overall going to be very aware and watching for homes. Lots of people don't think about this, but as a brokerage, I can tell you that I often get new inquiries all around holidays. Why? Because people have time off. They have the time to sit around and play with Zillow or the MLS or Realtor or Redfin or MovementumRealty.com, whenever they look at their houses. They're on there and they're looking around, and sometimes during the holiday season you realize, wow, it'd be really nice if I didn't have to go to my mom's house for this and I could invite her to my house. Or all sorts of different ideas like that that are there as little twinkling dreams in the person's mind. And during the holiday season, oftentimes Christmas, Hanukkah, and all this, there's so much giving going on and so much different purchasing going on that people are kind of more ready to spend money during that time. So buyers sometimes are a little more generous during this time because they really want these things to happen. Selling a house while there's less inventory in the market gives you an advantage. The buyers that are shopping will have to be competing, otherwise they're not going to win the bid on your home. So oftentimes a lot of people don't market their house during the holiday season. This means there's less houses on the market. Overall, less houses on the market with the same buyers means that there's going to be even further constraint on the inventory supply, which means bidding wars, right? And everyone's been talking about them out there, and yes, they're going on. And people always talk about when will they slow up or what will change. Well, one thing that doesn't change is during the holiday season, a lack of inventory. So if you have a nice piece of inventory and you want to sell it and you want to get the most money, sometimes putting it on during this season and sticking out there by yourself is going to get you the most demand. And, the other thing is, remember, sometimes there's even extra buys during the holiday season because it could be things like, I was normally away at college and I'm home for the weekend, or I'm here visiting my uncle, or whatever the different things. I'm traveling back home to where my mother is. All these things that bring people back to where their family is. Also, there's an increased traffic in the idea of, what if I lived closer to my mom and dad? Then I could visit more often. It wouldn't have to just be these holiday things. Now, some of these, they're just faint ideas, they're dreams, they're things that pop up during the holiday season while everyone's feeling very emotional towards family and being together and all the things that come with the holidays. But that said, they're real, and there's a lot of things that can happen during these holiday seasons that are to the positive for a seller. Now, with all the holiday decor, houses often look much more like home. At night, when a house is lit up, it can give buyers a new perspective on how amazing the home really is. So, the holiday decor is kind of a double-edged sword when it comes down to it. Some things, like when it comes to religion, we really don't like when people leave a lot of things up that are religious to one practice or another, because the truth is there's a lot of people that have a lot of different beliefs. And we want to keep everything as buyer neutral as we possibly can. Not that people are just going to get offended by your dreidel or by your Jesus Christ on the wall or by any of your other religious stuff. It's just that the more neutral we can keep it, the better. But during the holiday season, I think it's perfectly normal for people to celebrate. And I think there's also a fascination with each other's holidays, right? Whether it be that you've done Christmas all your life and you see someone doing Hanukkah or right around the other direction. It can be very interesting to the mind. So I think the holiday decor is nice on that level. My only concerns a lot of times comes down to the ultimate staging of a home And some things like, say, the Christmas tree, they're a very large item that can take up quite a bit of the living room. And they can be very distracting, which they're beautiful to look at, and they add a certain layer of hominess, like where you feel very much at home there. But the inverse of it is, again, that loss of space. So I would say definitely do one. Just think a little bit conservatively if you can on the size, or try to think of a location that doesn't hurt the flow of the home. Even if normally it's a centerpiece of the whole holiday season, if you're going to be selling, sometimes it's best not to do that. But understandably, we always just say when we make suggestions as real estate agents or brokers, we're suggesting what's going to get you the most amount of money. If you don't want to comply or follow what we tell you to do, we're not mad at you. Certainly not. It's your life. You get to make those decisions. But like I said, we're giving you the best advice to get the most money. So if people don't make offers or don't feel as good about the house, that's because you didn't follow everything. And we're going to just try to give you some simple guidelines again to make sure that you find success there. Some other things during the holiday season, all the electrical cords and stuff, when you're going to be inviting people on your property, make sure to think about not having a whole bunch of tripping hazards and things like that that are out in the yard or running across hallways. Also be careful of the fire hazard thing of just having too much plugged into one outlet, and just think about the overall appearance of the home when it comes to too much is too much. Decorating nice is one thing, but overkill will probably never work out very well when it comes to the house being crammed up with stuff. I understand it's tough to give up the holiday season, but if you are trying to sell during that, make sure to pay attention to that. Now, just some other business aspect type stuff. Be careful when doing business around the holidays, just that you check in with the attorneys, the mortgage brokers, and everybody involved to make sure people can make the dates happen that are going to happen. Right now, at this time of the year, early December, we still have the possibility of closing in 2021, but remember that it could possibly pass by, and if you just try to jam it in too early and it doesn't go, a lot of times that can lead to a lot of contention with the buyer and seller alike. So for the best interest of you guys when you're selling the house, just be careful about early deadlines. Better to give things a little more time and to allow them to happen, whether it be the home inspector, whoever. Everyone's going to be celebrating that holiday season. So just think about that. We need to give a little bit more time. Other things to think about would just be, when it comes to you having the time, when are you going to allow showings? When are you not going to allow showings? Because canceling showings is really not a good idea. I would highly recommend trying to come on a day like a Wednesday, Thursday, and try to do an open house the first weekend and see if you can't get it done quickly. That way then you can plan out when are you going to make the house available and when are you going to make it unavailable as far as parties and different things that you're going to be doing for the holiday season. Guys, there's never a bad time to sell or buy a home. It's all depending on your unique situation and what needs to happen for your life. There's always a good time to buy. There's always a good time to sell. It's just about having a real estate expert like those agents over here at Movementum Realty, which we call Move Mentors. We train all our agents on how to help guide you through buying, selling, and owning a home with success. Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe and tell everyone you know about this free podcast. Also, check out our weekly newsletter, our blog, as well as our Facebook group, all found under the name Homeownership. Have a great week, and I look forward to talking to you next week.